If you want to achieve big things, if you want to move forward, if you want to have that second office, if you want to have a dry eye specialty, a myopia management specialty, whatever it is, you have to put it on paper. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. You have big dreams, you have big goals. How do you make them a reality? Let me go back 2-3 years and tell you how I got to this point and how I plan on getting to my 15-year goal. We have the closing of the episode. This is the Ultimate OD Podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. It's been quite the month for me. We closed the old location there for 13 years. On the 11th, we celebrated our 13th year anniversary. Yes, 13 years. It's amazing. I can't believe I've been practicing for that long. And the 7th, we opened our new location officially. We were in there probably the 4th, right? We moved the week in between. And then today, as I'm recording this, was the first day that we had a second doctor at Family Vision Optical. It was awesome. It went really stinking well. I will tell you that within the first 10 minutes of me having the other doctor in the office, I realized how much of my time is spent doing non-doctor things. And I would say about 95% of my day is not related to being an eye doctor. Like, I'm dealing with the staff being too cold in the front. I'm talking to my marketing company about setting up Google ads. I'm talking to the staff about an email for an insurance verification. We're talking one-on-ones with the optical manager, with the manager of the office, what our plans are, what our goals are for the staff. Talking to the VAs about what they need to do to give a better patient experience. Thinking about the next office meeting, how I'm going to get everyone up to speed. Oh my. I do so much that's not related to being a doctor. It was mind-boggling for me. Talking to the other doctor about our, unified dry eye protocol, how we're going to build the Rejuvenation Dry Eye Center, RDEC. One of my staff members I said that to today laughed, didn't believe that's what it's called, but it's RDEC. But it's awesome. I honestly couldn't imagine a life where I wasn't doing these things, right? That's the fun. That's the dopamine rush into my veins that gets me excited every single day. So it was awesome to have that perspective that this is what I'm meant to do. And even though that stress can be overwhelming, an avalanche times 1,000,000 on top of my shoulders at times, I love it. It's fun, right? On the other note, I was talking to one of my colleagues who had a practice for about 1.5 years, 2 years now, and shut her doors. Done. Private practice just isn't what she wanted to do, and I get that as well. She was taking it home with her and said it's starting to affect her health. She's just not there. And I would have loved to be able to take that over, but you got to can't get the cart in front of the horse, right? I'm taking on a new endeavor where I'm at, and I don't want to over leverage myself, right? I know what we can build, what we're going to do here, but getting too far ahead of myself is something I need to avoid. In addition, I listened to an podcast today about a guy who has 6 offices, what he's done to scale and develop culture and continuity. And those are things I got to get ingrained into my staff in order to grow and expand. So just some perspective about running a private practice that I've learned that has honestly been really cool to see. That being said, I want to go over the process that led me to this point. Okay? You don't just wake up and say, I'm going to be a private practice owner and have a successful practice. And again, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I have a pretty successful practice. I'm proud of what I've done, what we've accomplished. I think we can get a lot better. I think there's more that we can do, and I'm not going to stop going after that. But if you've listened to some of my past episodes, I want to revisit the idea of a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal, right? That's your 15-year plan, what you want to have out there. And then you take a step back from that and you have a 7 to 10-year plan, okay? And from there, you have a 3 to 5-year plan. And then you have your 1-year plan. If you're really into like EOS, entrepreneurial operating system from Traction, a quarterly system where you set goals for 12 weeks and you keep going forward, right? But you can't get to that 15-year goal without knowing what it is, because all those little steps, all those 12-week increments need to be moving towards that goal, right? If you don't know where it is, you could be going east when that 15-year goal is west. Like, you're way going in the wrong direction, but if you don't know where it is, you're not going to get there. And that's how I spun my wheels at the beginning, right? So take a step back, find your 15-year goal. I'm sharing this with you in 2022. I set out some goals, but I had a 3 to 5-year goal. By 2025, this was my goal. I wanted 2 doctors, 1.6 million to 2 million in revenue. I was very aggressive on patients. I had like 5,500 to 6,000. I'm about half that, but my revenue is on point. So I'm just very productive. I wanted to be an incredibly inefficient doctor, apparently, when I did the math. Didn't think that through. But I'm gonna do close to, I think I can do 1.4 this year, right? Close to that, with about half as many patients as I thought. So adding this other doctor, okay, I wanted 2,500 to 3,000 square feet in an office. I'm at 35. Really cool, right? 10 staff members. I have 6 full-time staff members. My wife, who does all of our QuickBooks, social media marketing, and actively works in the office, is a member, but not really. I don't count her as a full-time. So 6. I have 4 VAs. So that's like 8. And I'm trying to hire about 2 more. I'm pretty close to what I thought I needed. I wanted 5 exam rooms. I had 4 exam rooms and 2 dry eye treatment rooms, which could be exam rooms. So 6. So I overshot that. 2 workup rooms, check. 1 special testing, check. Edger, no, didn't do that. Manager and an HR person. I have a manager and an optical manager. Kind of got away from the HR, and I'm still wearing that hat. Hooray. Would have been better planning if I would have looked at the goal, and I think I went east when I was supposed to be going west when it came to HR. I got to solve that at some point. But optical and front desk managers, I have that. In 22, I was heavy into sclerals, pivoted, dry eye, so I'm still going towards the specialty. But I'll tell you this right now, when I wrote that down, my 3 to 5-year plan, that was just incredibly aggressive, but I got to that 3 to 5-year plan because I had the 15-year plan, right? It's like, I can't tell you anything more than it really worked, right? If you want to achieve big things, if you want to move forward, if you want to have that second office, if you want to have a dry eye specialty, a myopia management specialty, whatever it is, you have to put it on paper. You have to put that as your goal. Write it down, right? I'm in this process. The next 3 months, I'm taking a step back. I'm really doing a revamp of my 15-year plan, right? I think any CEO, any leader of an office needs to constantly be thinking 10 years ahead, right? 15 is like the aggressive side of things, right? I think that's the BHAG, right? Jim Collins, Good to Great, great book. That's what the BHAG is, right? By having that 15-year plan, then you can be looking 10 years ahead, and then you can work your way back. I don't know what I want right now in terms of where I want to be in 15 years. Do I want like a ton of offices? Do I want a huge super single? Do I want to be seeing patients X amount of days a week? Do I want primary care? Do I want dry eye evals? When I look at it now, when I'm getting referrals for dry eye evaluations, when I can do the advanced therapies, that they're coming with the mindset, the expectation that they are going to get a treatment or do something, that's exciting. If I think of harvesting dry eye patients from my primary care practice and making them dry eye patients, that's a tough sell. That's a really hard thing. A lot of people that just stop coming in that don't see the issue, not nearly as fun. So how big can I make that referral program? When I look from a monetary aspect, the primary care, I got a great system down. It works really well. Do I want to be in the day to day going forward? Like as ingrained as I am right now, right? These are all questions you need to ask yourself. I don't care if you haven't started the practice. Think about where you want to be in 15 years, what you think you want that to be. And as I'm telling you right now, I did this in 2022 and I'm 3 years in, right? Approaching 2025. And I'm already revamping my 15-year plan. And I'm going to go backwards, do a 7 to 10 and a 3 to 5 and a 1-year plan, right? But I'm still making progress and it's all going in the direction that I want. Had I not set that 15-year plan, I don't think I'd be where I'm at right now. I put some pressure on myself, held myself accountable, and got there. And those are the keys to doing what I'm telling you to do. Writing it down and being accountable. I have a diary that I've been sharing with you for the past 4 years, telling you what I want to do. And even though I don't always hear it from you directly, by me putting it out there, I'm putting my feet to the fire. I said I was going to do this. I think I'm good at doing this. I have to live up to my hype, right? If I just kept this internally, didn't expand this, didn't put myself out there, I would have been where I was the past, 10 years, which was pretty successful, but small, okay? To get big, you need to be accountable. You need to have big dreams, big goals, right? That is one of the most important things I can tell you in the path to success and growth. It will guide you in your equipment purchasing decisions, in your hiring decisions, in your marketing decisions. When you know where you want to be, it's a lot easier to put these things in place. Like I've cut so many things out of my practice because I know where I want to go and what I want to do. That's fun. Right? That gives me juice. And when I think about it, the colleague of mine that started her practice and it wasn't for her, I think she probably lacked that 15-year plan, right? And was committed to it. That's the other thing about this that I'll tell you is when you set that goal, you have to go after. You can't have that not be your primary focus. Right? It's not saying you can't do other things. 4 kids, like I love to work out. I'm still reading books. I'm involved with my kids' schools. I'm going to their soccer events. I know what my priorities are, but they're all complementary to this one thing. And honestly, this past month, if you ask my wife, ask my kids, I've been around a lot less than I usually am. I've had to stay a little bit later. So a couple of soccer games, I'm not getting there at the very start, right? I've had to go in a lot earlier to get things ready and prepped, right? Be prepared to implement the necessary tasks, guidelines for your staff, for your office to make the things happen. So I've had to get up earlier. I've had to go in earlier. Be there to facilitate the transitions. Work through those hard times. One of the best things I heard today was when you go through growth, you're going to get to a point where you hit the ceiling and the ceiling is chaos. And you have 3 choices. Pull back and get out of the chaos, go back to what you're doing. Sometimes you make the move and you can't get out of it, right? Like I built this new office. If it was chaos, which it has been at times, and I wanted to pull back, I can't. I've, let the genie out of the bottle. The toothpaste is out of the tube. You have to deal with it, right? You can stay in the chaos, which is going to burn you out, burn your staff out. It's not going to be good. Or you can fight your way through. And I've done that numerous times, and that's what we're going to do now. It's already starting to happen. As I look at my staff, I'm seeing them get a more sense of calm, right? What did I tell you in this previous podcast? They want certainty. They want known. I've given them nothing but uncertainty and transition this past year. It really hit home the last month. And the last piece of the puzzle was the new doctor coming in. And again, that's a transition, not only for the doctor, but for the staff. And I'm trying to grease the tracks to make it as smooth as possible, but there's going to be hiccups, there's going to be bumps, but I can already see that it's going to work out. We're going to get through that ceiling. It's going to be fine. I know this. I can convey that to my staff. I can convey that to the doctor. We're doing awesome, right? And I can say that confidently because I've been through these endeavors before with chaos, but also because I know what I want to do and what I want to accomplish. Again, I'm revamping it, but I know that I'm going to get there. With that mindset, this is merely what needs to be done to get to that next step. That mindset is pulling me forward because I know where I want to be so I can fight through it. If I didn't know what was through that ceiling, what's on the other side, it's really hard to keep fighting through it because it sucks, right? So if you take anything away from this podcast, it's you have to have a big, hairy, audacious goal. This applies to everything in life, but do it for your practice. Do it for that future practice you want to have. What does it look like? And then add 10%. Make it huge. Make it big, right? And don't be afraid to reevaluate and adjust. Even in the thing I listed, like sclerals were my focus. I've pivoted that. It's now dry eye, right? But I aimed bigger than what I thought I could. I mean, I wrote this down, and I'm already bigger, and it's awesome, right? It's fun to see it come to fruition, and you can have the same thing. It can be done. You just have to dream it and accept it that it will happen. And I like having a mantra. Like one of my things I said all over and over again was 10 million in 10 years. It just rings, it resonates. And when people ask what I want to do, and I tell them that goal, they're like, LFG, let's go. We have to make some moves to get there. And it's motivated my team around me to make better moves. They know where I want to go. And in that, I took a step back and I said, hey, we're in here. I know that's where we want to go. But in the next 18 to 24, we'll call it 2 years, we need to be at $2 million in 2 years. New doctor growth, whatnot. I don't care what we have to do, but we need to put all our energy, effort, and resources into making that happen. Because we make that happen, the next step is we're that much closer to 10 million, right? Who knows where the ultimate end goal is going to be, but I know by chasing those things, I'm better for it. So dream big, set goals, and then work backwards. You do that and you will have a better practice in a year, I promise you. All right, that's what I have. We'll have more for you next week. Where has the time gone? We are to the closing thought of the episode. And today I will leave you with this thought. That the easy part of what we do is being the doctor. Right? And I'm not downplaying the doctor aspect. This applies to me, every doctor listening. We all can look at a retina, see glaucoma, see meibomian gland dysfunction, see a corneal ulcer, right? Every single one of us. If you're a doctor, if you pass boards, you can do those things, right? The hard part, the thing that makes you a great doctor, a great leader, is you can take those things and formulate it into a message that resonates with your patients, that resonates with your staff, that gets people motivated to follow your guidance, right? That's the thing that I'm ultimately trying to get better at every single day. is getting my patients to understand what they need to do to have their eyes be as healthy as possible, to get the best possible vision, right? To get my staff to operate at their maximum potential, I need to do the same thing, right? Motivate them. Make them understand the value of what we do, right? And a lot of this comes from being able to take a step back and see things from a patient perspective, see things from your staff's perspective, right? The easy thing is to know the answer and regurgitate it to someone. The hard thing is to see the answer and be able to see it from someone else's perspective and manipulate what you were going to suggest to a way that meets them where they are. Right? Whether it's giving them a treatment that's not your ideal prototypical treatment, but it's something that they'll be compliant on and they'll do. That's a better doctor than has the textbook answer that isn't being done. Right? That can get your staff to buy into your vision and your mission for the office. Right? Because as much as we like to think that we, the doctors, are the straw that stirs the drink, the staff has more of an effect on patients being compliant than we do, right? Because at the end of the day, they're answering the phone calls, they're going over the treatments, they're giving them the products. They deal with the patients about 80% more than we do, probably more than that, honestly. And that's where a disconnect happens, is good conversation with the patient. Patient says, okay, this is what I knew. They go and talk to your staff, and the staff says, oh, no, you can just get this here. Go on Amazon and get that. Well, that really defeats your message, right? Or they're trying really hard to convey the message that you've put in their ear, put in their brain, but they're getting it wrong. And now the patient's doing it wrong and not getting the results that they want, right? Everything comes down to being able to communicate what we see in the exam room to those people around us. Patients who need to do it and staff who need to coordinate our efforts to get them to be compliant. Because we don't have the time, effort, or energy to hold the patient's hand. That's where our staff comes in. So work on your superpower of communicating your message and getting it to resonate with those around you. That's what I have for you. Dr. Lily out.